My friends, we're witnessing what could be the biggest power transfer in White House media history. While rumors swirl about Alex Jones potentially serving in the press room, Chanel Rion has exposed an even bigger bombshell: how a private club has illegally controlled White House access for decades. But now, Trump is about to hand those precious press credentials to Joe Rogan, along with other podcasters, YouTubers, and independent journalists who actually speak for the American people. The fake news gatekeepers are losing their minds because a truth-telling minority female journalist just revealed their dirty little secret. They have zero legal authority to control that room. But here's something even bigger that's happening, and the mainstream media doesn't want you to understand about why this transfer of power is happening now. And as the deep state loses their grip on White House access, protecting your own information has never been more crucial. Just as they tried to silence Chanel Rion by cutting our cables, cyber attacks on independent voices have skyrocketed by 643% since 2020. That's why I trust VirtualShield Antivirus Pro. Their award-winning security tools protect all your devices, Windows, Mac, Android, from deep state surveillance and attacks. During their Black Friday sale, get up to 75% off plus a 7-day free trial at virtualshield.com/nextnews. Link below. Don't let them cut your connection to the truth. And here's something I want to bring to your attention. This is something, in light of all that's happening, something else that is not really being talked about is being spoken of by Chanel Rion of One America News. Now, Chanel came to my town. Maybe it was about a year or so ago, and she spoke at an event, and we went out. We went out and we had lunch with her husband, Cortland. My wife was there, and she told me about something that she was working on in the background. And it is something that will be revolutionary to people like myself. People like perhaps Joe Rogan or Tim Pool or people who have large followings of viewers on the different platforms where they are hosting content and reporting. Now, this actually came out a couple days ago, but it's a little long, and we've got a lot to get to in this segment. But I really want to drive this point home to you guys, because this is really revolutionary about what could happen in the White House press room. Now, MJ Truth Ultra brought this to my attention, and actually, I found out about it because Mancow Muller sent me a text message with a YouTube video link. And I'm like, okay, cool. All right, I watched the link, and then I saw Chanel within the video that he sent me. And I started digging around, and then boom, I find this video. Donald Trump reportedly to give credentials to podcasters, YouTubers, and social media influencers, giving them access to the White House press briefing room. Another gigantic step in totally dismantling the fake news media. Now, the White House press corps, in that room, that's all assigned seating. And it's based on some kind of ranking system that they have. But the secret is who controls the seating. And it's not by any congressional authority, not even by White House authority that these seats are assigned. It's by the National White House Correspondents Association. But Chanel Rion is about to shake things up. I want you to hear this. This is very, very important.
No standing. This is both a call to action and a step behind the scenes to a story that has never been told until now. So here's the condensed version. The White House Correspondents Association, a 501c3 founded by a bunch of top hat and cane 1913 Wilsonian old boys, and by the way, no girls allowed for decades, has operated on the White House grounds and tyrannically controlled the White House briefing room without any legal standing. They charge thousands to use those green tents outside. Pay to play. Donate and you may get a tent or even a seat inside the briefing room. That would be like you and me setting up a booth in front of the Lincoln Memorial and not only charging visitors to look at the memorial, but deciding who actually gets to see it. How long do you think it would take before the authorities showed up to escort us off the premises? So here we have a 501c3 controlling the activities on federal property. I saw firsthand, too, how scared everyone was of this cartel. No one had the guts to stand up to the WHCA. You see, the White House Correspondents Association dictates who sits inside the briefing room. They decide which outlets go into the Oval Office or travel with the president. Under what authority does the WHCA operate? Congressional approval? A White House agreement? A decree from some president long ago? Are they an official branch of the White House press office? Well, the DOJ answered this one. Zip, zed, nada. The WHCA, the White House Correspondents Association, is a no-jurisdiction private club acting like it's some federal agency protected by God himself.
These are the gatekeepers. These are the ones who are allowed to sit in that room and push false narratives. So when Jim Acosta was assaulting Donald Trump's press secretaries, day after day after day, it's because of that organization that controlled the entire seating arrangement in that room and the green tents outside. When you see them doing news hits and they're standing in front of the White House, they're standing inside green tents that were set up by that organization. Well, Chanel, when I met with her when we had lunch, she told me that she set up her own. And she said, Gary, anytime you're in D.C., you let me know. You can use it. Let's continue.
No, it exists out of tradition and because they say so and they're bullies. But you know, Congress did pass a law eliminating the practice of a monopoly. And that's exactly what the White House Correspondents Association is. So in April 2020, I founded the National White House Correspondents Association to counteract the WHCA. I drafted a memo. The press secretary at the time ran my long-form 60-pager past White House General Counsel. And they affirmed the White House Correspondents Association has zero legal standing. Ah, yes, the "we've always done it" authority clause. Yet, with no standing and this unchallenged monopoly, the White House Correspondents Association has used that press briefing room to peddle the DNC platform, and they've used it as a cudgel with which to beat and bully Trump's press secretaries and his representatives, and his entire Trump agenda. They beat and bullied me. I was the lone pro-America.
Wait till you hear what she says, what they did to her. What they did to her when Donald Trump, this is heartbreaking, when Donald Trump gave her the green light to go into that press briefing room, she's about to tell you the nasty, nasty things that they did to her. Listen.
Reporter, and doubly insulting for them, a minority female. But despite their every attempt to keep me from accessing Trump and Kayleigh, I was graciously invited by the White House and made to stand in the back of the room. WHCA members left nasty grounds on my desk, vandalized my workspace, blocked me in the briefing room, roped me off in the corner, cursed me on live TV, cut my internet cables, taped up my wooden chair. I then announced NWHCA's formation, the National White House Correspondents Association. And the White House Correspondents Association sent me a cease and desist letter. I ignored them. They did nothing. They were, of course, petrified I would expose their little secret. The not-so-great WHCA, I wrote in my memo to the White House, is not legally more than a tiny and ostensibly non-profit Section 501c3 organization with about $350,000 in annual revenue and 0 employees. This puts the financial seriousness of the failing WHCA on revenue parity with a failing Subway sandwich store. Problem was, the Trump White House was in the midst of re-election. I was told the status quo would remain until the second inauguration. So I announced my organization and I waited. But empowered by my research, I struck a deal with the White House and with OAN's funding, built a tent on the White House North Lawn, a tent that would be home for all us so-called riffraff. The White House Correspondents Association lost their minds, but they had no jurisdiction, no authority to stop it. And when Biden took office, they tried to take the tent. Secret Service came to my rescue. I call it affectionately the Alamo. It stands for this day, a symbol of press freedom. The White House home for One America News and all National White House Correspondents Association members, current and future. Boy, do I have stories about that tent. But I digress. So yesterday, Axios published this pearl-clutching scoop that Team Trump plans to shake up the briefing room by giving conservative media access to the White House. But, Axios points out, there's solace. At least the White House Correspondents Association can gatekeep the briefing room seats to keep out the riffraff. How cute Axios and the WHCA think they have that power. It's, of course, like them, fake news, but only if Trump's next press office has the guts to recognize they don't have this power. Deconstruct that briefing room. Make it reflect the new media faces that so decisively shamed the legacy outlets in their numerical irrelevance. The new media reflect the American people, not the elite martini olive snarfing Yamiche Alcindors or Jim Acostas.
Yep.
In my letter from April 2020 to the White House, I added the importance of new media as illustrated by Trump himself. President Trump has proven how effective are direct-to-America communications and has shown internet media and streaming are the future of communications in a modern presidency. No middlemen, no broadcasting licenses, no cable carriage disputes. The filter is gone. New media dominate. Truer now than it was back then. I also pointed out this ugly secret. The WHCA's IRS Form 990 shows the salary machine truth. A salary maker dipping disproportionately into a meager revenues of a nonprofit. Funded by big media donors sponsoring a single and untidy annual joke dinner, attracting a crowd of look-at-me Hollywood has-beens and hangers-on who provide the correspondence dinner with a leering and leftist audience who attend to try diminishing the presidency and conservatism.
So, you know that correspondence dinner they always have? It's a roast and you know what I'm talking about. Well, after I was sent this link, I text Chanel and I said, hey, Chanel, I just saw this, so happy you held on. Please let me know what I can do to assist you. And she said, Gary, how the heck are you? I said, we are fighting and we are winning. She said, we held our ground, looking forward to this next chapter. We need to plan our dinner. She said, love it. I'm on air. We'll talk soon. I said, good show. Chat later. I said, I'd like to help organize the dinner with you. We'll make it the greatest event for our free media that has ever occurred. So, the dinner, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, traditionally held on the last Saturday in April at the Washington Hilton. I said we should probably be before theirs to really piss them off. So, let's continue.
Puerile humor and putty-grade humorists. President Trump rightly and tastefully refuses to attend or dignify this alcohol-drenched pomposity. Assuredly, the National White House Correspondents Association will host its own correspondents' dinner that will honor and celebrate the presidency. This was 4 years ago. Biden took the presidency, and it was clear that Biden's press office was not interested in press freedom. Oh, no. So my ideas for equalizing the press room and pool duties associated was put on pause. The Biden press office and the WHCA were honeymooning in holier-than-thou delirium. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Steve Bannon, OAN, each of us alone have more viewers at any given hour than any of these legacy rats have in an entire day.
Next News Network. Come on, Chanel.
And if real journalism was the goal, they showed just how incapable of that they were these last 4 years. Covering for the Biden family hospice and propping up pill-popping Kamala. These people need to come clean. Admit what they are. They are partisan pawns. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. I love diversity of thought. Just be honest about it. And don't hog the room with your unjustified girth. Perhaps now we might have an attorney general and an FBI director who can find out how much the WHCA has financially gained from the taxpayers' White House. Perhaps we'll have a press office in the White House with the guts to stand up to them. The future of media is an exciting one. It's filled not with the pale left cult miscreants of the WHCA, but by the beautiful diversity that is true new media. Liberal opinions count, but not enough to suffocate the Brady press room. They're wrong for a modern White House, and the tasks the WHCA currently monopolize are not theirs to wield. It is the president's and his press offices alone. Time to make the old boys at the WHCA go stand in the corner this round.
I wasn't going to play that whole thing, but man, she is on point. And what is about to happen is going to be an earthquake in Washington, D.C. So there you have it. While everyone's focusing on rumors about Alex Jones in the press room, they're missing the bigger story. A private club with the revenue of a failing Subway sandwich shop has been illegally controlling access to the President of the United States. But that is all about to change. Joe Rogan could soon be asking questions where Jim Acosta once grandstanded, while independent voices flood that briefing room with real journalism. And speaking of independent voices, don't forget to check out our new MAGA Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, perfect for celebrating as we take back control of the White House press room. Now, here's a question they don't want you asking. Why has this illegal monopoly been allowed to continue for so long? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is this the end of fake news control over White House access, or will the deep state find a way to keep independent media out?